Greetings, it's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, ABW. Someone sent this to me and wanted me me to comment on it. This dude again. I don't know who this dude is. You know, everybody can. It's so easy for everybody to get a platform, get a microphone, mic up, and just disseminate their message out to the world. I don't know who this dude is. He's weird. This the dude with the side tooth, and he's really been showing his ass, man. He's really been putting out the creepy vibes. I guess he's really the poster child for the term is grooming now. That these terms become amplified in the lexicon in the world of the internet right now. And so grooming is a word or is a concept that's really starting to surface. And I guess in black internet, this guy is starting to become the poster child for it because he's talked about this before. Liking women of the younger variety is what he says. And even if you first of all, even if a dude feels that way, even if you feel like you like younger women, it never comes out good for you to say that. For you to expressly state that you like, if you are a man and I would assume he's in his 30s. If you're a man in your 30s, 40s, and of course older than that, and you expressly admit you like younger women, you say that you expressly state that you like younger women, it's just never a good thing to state. Even if that is what you're what you feel, how you feel, you just don't say that because it's never you don't say that publicly because it never just is interpreted the right way. It gives off people will say that it gives off pedophilic vibes, and that's of course wrong. I understand the imagery that pedophilia or pedophilic conveys, but that's technically wrong. We shouldn't use those terms loosely on people because that's a very serious offense. That's a very serious violation to call someone a pedophile because a pedophile is someone who likes pre-pubescent children. And that's a whole nother league of sick, of disgusting, of just vile character. Okay? So we won't even get into that. Now there are a faction of men who do like I would say it'd be more predatory. It would be a better term. Predatory men out there. It's pretty lame to me. It's very revealing of a man's character. It's pretty lame. Let's just go ahead. Let's play the video. Let's play the video. Cause this dude right here, man, he's been on it lately. I've seen.
Tend to be more impressionable. I think older women, in my experience, you 30, 33, 35, the experiences that you have at that point is just, a little bit too much for me. And I really think in some cases you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I prefer.
He says too much for him. And then for one thing, since when did older women become 30, 33? When did that become the standard for older women? To me, that's a woman. A woman. Me personally, I don't consider a woman older. It's a 40. If we want to make a line, first of all, age ain't nothing but a number. We know that. But there are general standards that are accrued or general experiences and standards that come with the rotations, how many rotations you've taken around the sun. Okay. So, just as a general line of demarcation, I would say 45. After 45 is when you could start to say, depending on your age, you can start to refer to women as older women. Now, or maybe 50. Let's say 45 to 50, and then of course 50 and up. You maybe refer to a woman as older, right? Um, and me personally, I like older women, but we'll talk about that.
My women to be of the younger variety.
If a woman wants to respect you and give you the respect to lead and be her partner, why do you need to have that level of power over her if you're not trying to manipulate someone?
See, it's not power, it's impressionable. I've never seen a successful partnership where the other person wouldn't allow themselves to be impressed upon. If I'm a person and I got a vision, I got a plan, I got a whole program, I would think that the person that wants to be with me is willing to learn and willing to adopt some of the ways or even some of the.
So when he frames it like that, he's not all the way wrong in what he's saying, because a big part of partnership is being able to be receptive for when a woman becomes part of, he uses the word program. When you and a woman come into partnership with each other, now a lot of women won't like to accept this, or modern women won't accept this or admit this, but there is a hierarchy. There's a partnership, but there's a hierarchy. It's like, there's a 1A and 1B. Now, if it's just okay, so let's take the love aspect out of it. Okay, there's a boss and then there's employees, right? And I know this because I run a couple of companies, and so I have employees. So I am, by title and by duty, I am the leader. I'm the boss. Does that mean that I can't listen to my employees? No, I will listen to my employees. I will take feedback and criticism, even respectfully, from my employees. And that's the same thing as it applies in a relationship. But at the end of the day, the final say so defers to me. And so there's a responsibility with that, that when it comes to a relationship, the trajectory of your relationship hinges on that man's leadership, the woman's receptiveness to his leadership, acceptance of new information and new information. So that's what I hope he's trying to convey, but it probably not, likely not. When in the case that I'm dealing with a woman, she absolutely does need to be receptive to the information that I'm conveying to her. But in turn, conversely, I should have the character to be open and receptive to her information as well. But as the hierarchy suggests, ultimately I make the decision as to how that information is used, absorbed and used for the greater good of myself and for her and for us as a collective. Ultimately, the direction, the steerage of the ship depends on me. So if that ship goes down, that is a reflection of my leadership. And so that's why it's a responsibility. So we want the benefits, but we don't want the responsibility as men, and we have to admit that as men. Now, women. Now there are some cases where there's a woman who just is insubordinate. And then there's men that are insubordinate. So that reflects your personal leadership. First, I think we tend to always get things out of order, out of balance, and forget the basics. Personal leadership. You are your personal leadership. And the greater that you have your personal leadership in order, and this, okay, so for women, the more that she has her own personal leadership in order, she's able to be under the leadership of a man, because first of all, she can discern whether or not he has the right leadership skills. He can discern whether or not she has her own personal leadership, and then whether or not she can be receptive to my leadership, my information, and whether or not I, as a leader, as a man, can learn something from her and what she has to offer. That's why it's a partnership. That's why it's not a dictatorship. So I'm not of the school of thought of men that whatever I say goes. No, 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 no. That the woman. That's why we are man and woman, yin and yang. We both bring something to the table. So let's move on. Let's move on.
Principles that I have.
That's not impressionable. Impressionable is basically getting someone to do what you want them to do because they're easily swayed and easily persuaded to do what you want them to do.
Who said that? Did you make that? I think younger.
I really would like to watch the rest of that clip. He said, but the ending is funny. Who said that? Did you make that? No, 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 no. She's absolutely right. Let's go to the definition, the Oxford language definition of impressionable. Let's go there.
I think younger women tend to be.
Let's go there. Hold on 1 second. Let's find this definition. Impressionable. Okay. Easily influenced because of a lack of critical ability. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay. Anyway, brother. So
I think younger women tend to be more impressionable. I think older women, you know, in my experience, you 30, 33, 35, the experiences that you have at that point is just, you know, a little bit too much for me.
A little bit too much for him. So basically what he's saying that he wants, he said he's saying, he's expressing his intention, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with expressing your intention, but don't be surprised of the backlash or of the stigma that will create upon yourself, around yourself. But the word impressionable is what is probably the most telling part of this, because as we've seen, and easily influenced by because of a lack of critical ability. So critical abilities. Now, there are a number of critical abilities that a woman, for a highly evolved man, that he should seek. And one very pertinent ability, critical ability, is the ability to think for themselves. If she's, see, I think he forgets, or he might not understand the fact that if she's impressionable to you, as lame as you are, sir, she's likely going to be impressionable to a nigga like me, or a nigga of my variety, who can easily sniff that type of character out, who can easily snuff that out, or I should say, um, circumvent his program. His program is highly. See, I'm in IT, and also I do IT, so I understand about programs, and there needs to be his program can be hacked. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, not try to say too much. His program can be hacked. If she's impressionable to you to that extent, she'll be impressionable to someone else. And I don't know. I'd like to know this dude's situation, dog. Um, Me personally, I like older women. Um, Now, a woman, now a defiant, rebellious woman is going to be a defiant, rebellious woman, no matter the age. Um, and you can't do anything about that. And that they have their place, and they have their own category. And again, it always goes back to basics. You need to develop your ability to even discern and pick out a partner in the first place. Character. So if you don't have your own highly developed character values, then you're not going to be able to recognize it in someone else. And that's really what it boils down to. And if it so happens in your quest, your daily endeavors and travels, that you come across a woman who is younger, who fits your agenda, first of all, I don't even like to say that, your program or agenda. Your program or your agenda should be to live the highest version of life that you can. And if your intention to have a family, raise a family with someone who has values, who comes from yeah, that has a lot to do with who comes from a good family structure. All these things. See, that's why in other countries, it's uh, it's debatable. I mean, it has its debates, or it has its, you can debate about the efficacy of it, but in a lot of ways it does work, as to why people have arranged marriage, or why you have royalty that marries royalty, because um, we're probably, especially black culture, we're probably the only culture that doesn't value our legacy to that degree. We don't think that deep about our legacy, to where we think about our partner and their family history, their family mental history, health history, their family dynamics. We don't think about those type of things generally. All those things come into play as to who you are partnered with and who your offspring will be. And I hope I'm not getting off subject, but all of this comes into character, your own character, the character of the person that you choose. If that so happens to be a younger woman, let's not say girl, because we know a girl. We'd say a girl is a teenager or even below. So a younger woman, if she happens to be 20, that's a woman, okay. So let's not castigate a man that's in his 30s, that's with a 20-something-year-old. Well, let's not all the way castigate him to being a groomer. I personally have met quite a few, because again, I'm in healthcare, in IT, several businesses. So I've seen very mature 20-something-year-olds, younger 20-something, 22-year-olds. They are there. Um, so let's not all the way castigate a man who is with a 20-something-year-old. But for you to expressly state that, and that's your target, that can be a little very revealing to your character, to your intentions. Um, Some men just really just have don't just really have short don't have low standards for themselves, and therefore have low standards for their woman. This man, I think he really has low standards for himself. I really do. I really think he really hides his insecurities and his uh yeah, he really hides them behind his perceived intellect or bravado that he's trying to convey, and it's very translucent. I can see right through it, and he probably was a late bloomer. I imagine. I can, man. I'm telling you, I got this down. He's probably a late bloomer in the game of life. Probably didn't get no pussy as a teenager, and that's very important. I've come to realize for men, it's very important for a man to be able to get some pussy when he's in his teenage years. A lot of pussy. I got a lot of pussy when I was a teenager. I did, and so so by the time it didn't throw me off to where once finally started getting my shit together and all that, I wasn't a late bloomer in that aspect. Nah, I wasn't. Actually, I was. Actually, I was because I wasn't. It wasn't until I thought I was. I really thought I was. I thought I was a late bloomer because I didn't get my first piece of pussy. I was 15, and I knew dudes that was getting it. My cousin. See, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever. I came up around players. I was a player being groomed, quotations, being groomed by other players. So my cousins was getting it in 12, 11, 12 years old, and I didn't come along till I was 15. Kind of by choice, kind of by I had a few like close calls, and then like it seemed like bad luck, and I was like, "Damn, I ain't never gonna get no pussy." And then before you know it, it started falling out the sky, and it never stopped. And not to brag, but that's just what it is. But I've seen now that I've reverse engineered myself and others. I've seen that has contributed to my views or to my abilities. And most likely this guy didn't get no pussy till he was probably about 20, probably maybe 18, 19, which is still like I thought 15 was late, but 18, 19, 20, that's late. You're gonna miss out on some key lessons. And see, the acceleration when you're a teenager of the lessons that you get, the younger you can get them, the acceleration of the lessons, it develops you in a certain way. So the later that you get that type of action, that type of motion, the acceleration of your learning slows down. I don't have any empirical data to suggest that, but I just, again, that's reverse engineering. That's just observation. If you are a late bloomer, your ability to grasp these lessons on women significantly is reduced. That's what I'll say. Because you still in awe and shock of just even getting the pussy because it took you so long. Either you were just not capable, or you just were not in position, or you just weren't aware. Either way, you missed out. And I think that's the deal with this dude. By and large, a young bitch can't do nothing for me. But now if I was in the game, if I was really in the game, then yeah, young bitch. But that's why it's the game. That's a whole nother conversation. But even then, young bitches don't, still need. There can be a headache, man. Even though women supposedly, technically, yeah, they're not supposedly, they do. Their brains develop, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have all the life skills that they need. I like older women. I like women my age, women or women older, because there's some things that I don't have to quote unquote teach. Who the wants to teach, and then if they have quote unquote programs that aren't compatible with mine, then I just don't deal with them. That has nothing to do with age. Yeah, and old dog, new tricks. But by the time, if they're an old dog with bad tricks or tricks that aren't, these tricks that aren't conducive to my vision, that has nothing to do with their age, really. Well, it does. No, but it's likely something that has been that was developed in them early on. That's just part of their character. And but as long as she's receptive to my information, and then if she comes just ready made and she just knows how to just sync up with what I got going, and then that means if she got something going that I can dig, shit, I'll get going with what she got too. Men always talk about, oh, well, she need to get with my program. Man, look, if a woman got a program that's going and I look at my program, I say program loosely because that's what he said. If I got a program and I look at her program, shit, I'm gonna go with her program. That doesn't mean I can't integrate my program into her program, and that doesn't mean that I have to be bossed around by her. No, man, women don't want to do that. Most women don't want to boss around a man. A woman will take advantage of a man that is able to be taken advantage of. Women will tell you that. But man, look. I hate to use this term because it's such a colloquialism. But if I'm a boss, she's a boss. Why can't we just boss up together? I don't need you to be impressionable. I don't need you to be lacking of critical abilities and easily influenced, because if that's the case, if you're impressionable by me, you're going to be impressionable by someone else, and you're going to always going to have to be going back to basics, going back to reprogramming, erasing, because she's going to be around other people unless you're that type of guy who wants your woman to just stay in the house and do nothing else. And then even then she's going to be impressed by the internet. Like it's just it's so layered to this. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to highlight that real quick. Man, this dude here, this is the side tooth dude. He's really making his way, man. I'm bless his heart. This is your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, ABW, signing out. Sayonara. Benvenido. Bon voyage. Take care.